back to the second part of my 3-part series about breathing. Last month I was talking about how we can improve our breathing, and I'll pop that clip on the end of this one, but today I want to talk about how breathing relates to core stability. First of all, I want to define the core though. Your inner core is the diaphragm, your big breathing muscle that sort of attaches onto the base of the ribs. Deep abdominal muscle there at the front, your pelvic floor at the base of your pelvis, and muscles that stabilise between each of the vertebra of the spine at the back. They go bit to bit to bit, bone to bone to bone. So they're the muscles. They're linked by connective tissue called fascia rather than directly linked to each other. And I think we talk about the core, but it's worth thinking about what's kind of inside. What are the main bits? Well, at the top you've got your liver and your stomach, and then you've got all your digestive organs. At the back you've got your kidneys. Lower down you have the womb, if you have one, and women's reproductive organs, and then you've got the bladder at the bottom. And of course the base of the core, not the base, sorry, towards the bottom you've actually got the bony encasing of the pelvis as well. Also, as I say, the core's not a thing in isolation. Above it, above the diaphragm, you've got your heart and lungs, and they're encased in the ribs. So that's the core. And there's a couple of other things I just want to mention. The first thing is that the core isn't the be-all and end-all of stability or strength in the body. It is a kind of inner unit, but everything else in the body is connected, and other muscles are responsible for strength as well. Sometimes you could almost call the rest of the body the outer core, but I think that's a bit perverse. But on the other hand, it relates to the notion of core stability. Anyway, I'm wittering now. So the other thing I want to talk about is this notion of core strength. I think one does hear of the idea of a weak core and a strong core, but like so much else in life, it's not that simple. It's not binary, a binary definition between weak and strong. And also you can't do strength type exercises like a plank or a crunch in order to make your core strong. What you really want is it to be functional and kind of match fit for everyday life. So what does functional mean? Well, if there's a push-pull kind of thing exerting on the body cavity, you want the body to respond appropriately. You want it to be able to meet the demands of daily life. You could be just asleep, or you could be doing fitness type things, you could be having sex, you could be giving birth. There's this kind of gamut of activities we want to be strong for. In Pilates, how we tend to approach core stability is to go really gentle and see if you can maintain your stability and then layer on from there. And you can use breathing as a way to look at basic core functionality. I'd like you to have a go with me, so lie down. Okay? So, take my glasses off now, I think. So you're going to lie down and have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Allow your body to relax. It might be that you need support for your head and the shoulders to enable you to lie comfortably. I've just got a little head pad, but if you need more, use it. And I want you to breathe and feel the gentle rise and fall of your belly. Okay. It's a difficult word, but I can't think of a better word to describe this region. Pop your hands between your pubic bone and your tummy button and breathe in, belly rises. Breathe out, belly falls. So already with the breathing you're having a sense that there's muscle action, and what's happening there is the abdominal muscles are relaxing on the in-breath and contracting slightly on the out-breath. We are a nation of belly suckers, and if you have a tendency to do that, and a lot of us do, then it can be quite hard to maybe let go of that tension or even know what it feels like. But do your best
to relax back to a kind of resting state. Allow the floor to give you as much support as you need. Take time and breathe away. If you get this sense of the gentle rise and fall of the stomach, or the belly, we can go to the next stage. I'm going to kind of use a metaphor to get the use of the breath, to get the abdominal muscles to contract. I want you to breathe in and breathe out and blow out 50 candles. You probably have to sort of go with the metaphor, to purse your lips slightly. It doesn't really matter if it's 50, but I do want you to detect a difference, that there's a little bit more tension in the muscles, and don't worry about not feeling it if you've got clothes on, if you've got belly fat. Do you know what? If we take time and touch gently, really pretty much all of us can feel this. Maybe go from 50 to 75, and then maybe 75 to 100 candles. So what we're doing here is using a pressure change in the area to stimulate the muscles to contract. And so it's a kind of really basic, really gentle, really quite an informative way to get a sense of how the muscles will react to pressure. But this is very controlled, breathing out pressure. As I'm talking in metaphor, if you want a more specific cue, breathe in and breathe out and contract your inner corset muscles. Of course, there's no way of sensing how much to contract them, but it's the inner corset muscles, and then maybe think about this notion of candle blowing. But certainly that's a more kind of visual thing, isn't it, the corset? So one other thing here, what we want to avoid is this sense of bearing down. And it's not something I can easily show you, but if you imagine a sort of kind of thing where there's a sense of bearing down in towards the base of the pelvis. I'm sorry to get a bit kind of private here, but if you please forgive me for kind of using those words, but it will be quite meaningful. If you've ever suffered with constipation and you've kind of strained a bit, that's the sort of sense I'm talking about. Or with very, very heavy lifting, sometimes that sense of kind of loss of control and sort of over-pressurising the system. Now, once in a while it's fine. It's not fine to be doing this a lot. And it's surprisingly common for people to sense this thing is how they should be engaging the core. But we do not want the pressure in the system being your trunk, bearing down into the base of the pelvis, which is where your pelvic floor is. With each time you breathe or each time you do an exercise, there's that pressure down. We want to turn that around, turn that in if you like, so that when you breathe out, there's a gentle contraction of the deep abdominals, and at the same time a contraction, a tightening of pelvic floor. And I know most of us don't feel the pelvic floor tighten when we breathe out. It's much easier to, so I'm talking about the abdominal muscles, but for the record, pelvic floor tightens as well. So that's the breathing and how you breathe in to use the core. So I'm just going to give you a couple of extra core stability exercises to be going on with.
I thought I'd get up and look at the camera again, because sometimes it feels a bit strange lying there and look tucked into the ceiling. So anyway, once you've got a sense of this extra support, that's one way of putting extra contraction of the abdominal muscles, when you kind of alter the breathing, you can use a different kind of load instead of a breathing pressure change, which actually is a real life thing. If you suppose you really were blowing out 100 candles, or classically sneezing or coughing, this is a sort of breath, lungs orientated pressure downwards. But that's admittedly a little bit niche, but in daily life, the load, the lift, the push, the pull is to do with movement and limbs. So let's go beyond breathing and use the limbs. So I'm going to lie down again. Again, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Have as much head support as you need to. And, oh, guess whose phone isn't on silent? And I want you to slide your heels away from you. I've got a yoga mat, which is a bit non-slip. You might find that it's better to be on a carpet, or socks with laminate flooring is really good as well. And I'm going to cue the breathing. Breathe in, slide your legs away. Breathe out, draw the legs back. And that feels like about, well, I mean, you could measure this all in candles. I'd say this is maybe about 250 candles. Shall I take my leg warmers off? Because they are completely unnecessary to this video clip. Right, where was I? Breathing in, slide away. Breathing out. On the weight of the legs being pulled pressurises your container, and you need some support. You're fine going away. You've got a heel slide coming back, but that heel slide is going to trigger a demand on your trunk stability. This is going to play out as a sense of those muscles tightening, and this is important, an absence of bulging of the belly up or arching of the back. If you're getting either an arch or that's the sort of pressure in the wrong place, a bit like that bearing down, the kind of into the pelvic floor. Belly bulging is kind of pressure in the wrong place. So if you're getting that, maybe we need to go back to fewer candles. So you could have one leg in the air and reach forward and back, and that is pressure, that's loading the system, but it's less. Or a lovely exercise, I'm really fond of this, one arm, one leg. I call this reverse bird dog because true bird dog is on all fours. Okay, I'm not going to demonstrate it here, but you would swap limbs and balance out. I'm just going to show you one more on all fours. Breathe in, breathe out, one knee up, two knees up. Again, lots of candles, 300, 400 candles, and then keeping control as the knees come up. One little thing here, and that is your lower back will react to this. It's not going to react though to arching away. We want to avoid that, we want to maintain stability, but you might find there's a slight tip into the floor when your legs come up. So those are classic core stability exercises. Can you stay stable under load? Can you take the pressure in the system? And just before I take my leave, you could try an all fours position. One of the things that's nice about this is, again, if you struggle with the notion of letting your tummy muscles relax, that you can use this because you can sort of allow your belly to relax down with gravity. It's not got no work in it because you've got the spine is still stable, but you've got resting functional tone, not excess. And then you've got, once you're in this position, again you can try out with the candle blowing to feel that tightness, or instead of reverse bird dog, you've got the sort of classic Superman, this is sometimes called as well. And just to finish, a pre-plank. Okay, so you're on your hands and knees, and just another, so useful. I'm talking about the core, but at this moment in time, it isn't just your deep core that's stabilising you. It's your hands and your shoulders and your knees, leg, pelvis. And sort of hidden, but believe you me, they're working. The back muscles across your back are stabilising you as well. So you've got, as I say, this slight bit of an oxymoron, but your outer core. You've got your inner core, functionally extra if you do your breathing, or here's a pre-plank. Tuck your toes and on an out breath, hover your knees. Pelvis up, head tilts down. No breath holding. You can hold that for a couple of breaths or go up, down, up, down. For those of you who struggle, I mean, this is a slight aside, but if you struggle with the toe curling under, it's much harder, do be warned, but you can do this exercise without the toe tuck. It's harder, but it can be done. So there you have it. Breathing as a mediator, stimulator and practicing tool for core stability. Hi there. I do hope you found this clip useful. We've got plenty more on the site, and for now I've suggested another one for you to watch. If you want to know more about what we do in Leeds, then do visit the website at pilates-leeds.com, and right now you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and we can do this all again next month. Cheerio!